We think of peace almost like the 60s. Peace, man. Shalom is way different than that. Shalom means, may everything be provided for you. May your life be full. May your countenance have peace. May everything in your life be taken care of. May you have peace. That's what David is saying here. You have put more joy in my heart, verse 7, sorry, I'm reading it, I guess, than when they have their grain and wine abound. All right, very quickly, you put more joy in my heart than when they have their grain and wine abound. I got to tell you this story. We had friends that went to Texas to this wedding. And when they came back, they couldn't wait to tell us how extravagant the wedding was. They had an individual wedding cake, a little one, on each table. The silverware was gold. It was extravagant. There were violins walking around. It was the neatest wedding ever. What David is referring to here is the wine is for the wedding feast. The grain is for the harvest. Here's how it was in Israel. When the first harvest came in, it was party time. There wasn't irrigation. When you had a good harvest and God blessed Israel like no other land, they celebrated the harvest. When it was a wedding, they had a feast. Sometimes it lasted for 7 days. It was something huge. I remember serving at another wedding, and Jack was there. It was in Fairmont. I can't say anymore. And I was assigned to pour wine, and it was another thing of, look how much we got. And I remember thinking back then, I was probably 23, 24, it just seemed gaudy to me. That's what David's talking about. It's a bad day buster. If parties, if how much can I show other people I have is what we live for. You know what I thought of driving here this morning? That wedding in Texas. How much of that is left? About 4 years ago. Where does David get his joy? In the Lord. How much of that is left? On our bad days, if we can take these binoculars off and realize the joy of Jesus Christ that lasts forever, you're on the road. The world wants us to show, look what I got. You know the sad thing? The Father is no longer on this earth, and I never talked to him about Jesus Christ. I sat at a table with him one night, never said a word. I don't know where he is. Joy in Christ is constantly being filled. That's our bad day buster. David is exact on that. We need to understand that. Peace, I will, verse 8, in peace I will both lie down and sleep, for you alone, O Lord, make me dwell in safety. Back to shalom. You guys know this, but I'm going to tell you again, I preached the sermon twice. Usually on Friday. This week we were jammed, so it was on Saturday morning and this morning. I always preach it on Sunday morning. And when I preached it this morning, this came to me. And here's the way I want to end this sermon. I was going to use a quarter, but my kids still laugh at me because I'll stop over and I'll pick up a penny. I was at Graves Barbecue in Kansas City, my favorite place to eat in the world. And I'll never forget, I had already got my stuff. I had sat down, and a young, and I'm going to call him a punk, because here's what he did. He got his change in his hand, and he took his change and he threw it, because it wasn't important to him. Guess what I did? I went and picked everything up right in front of him. Not that I was better than him, but you know what? My great-grandparents, I don't know what they would have done if they would have seen it. My grandparents, I don't know how they would have reacted. All of our families have come through very, very hard times. I was given an opportunity, and Jordan, who isn't here, went with a house to me yesterday, to pray for a family that the husband died 15 months ago. The daughter had a 1-month-old, the granddaughter had a 1-month-old baby, and all of a sudden she lost her ability to speak. She had a tumor between her skull and her brain. So the family took a 1-month-old baby that was being breastfed and passed it around, and they said the baby was a nightmare with mother. You should have seen it without mother. And I saw that baby, a beautiful baby of about 19 months old. That lasted for 2 months. Oh, by the way, when that mother came home, the other daughter all of a sudden couldn't walk. She's been in the hospital. Remember when they told us the story and I said we're going to go pray for them? She was in the hospital for 3 months with a tumor in her spine. And she was there yesterday and she said, Bill, she's been in this church with her boyfriend one time. And she said, Bill, I walk like a baby. I've got to learn to completely walk again. And they allowed me to pray with them yesterday. And a family that has been in the Word of God for over 100 years. You know what the mother said when she saw the daughter, when she explained to the daughter, because the daughter hasn't lived a perfect life. She reached her hand over and she said, with this, her faith will come back stronger and stronger. Because I asked her the dumb question when I got there, was God, do you think God was involved in any of this? And she rolled her eyes, and yeah, typical pastor question. But here's what I want you to go, forget that thing I've got written down up there. Here's what I want you to remember when you go home today about bad day busters. That penny that I started off with. That penny is a bad day. The Bible has a story about a widow who was very poor, who had 10 minas, which is as cheap as you can get. She lost one, and what did she do? She tore that house apart till she found it, and then she had a celebration. You and I, when we lose something, or when somebody says something, or when we're having that bad day, we're going around like this. Okay, here's our penny. Okay? And those of you that know me, especially Rebecca, have seen me walk by going, where's the Kleenex box? But let's say that's the penny, and we let this affect us all day long. All of us have done this. Okay, here's the kicker. In our pockets, each one of you, when I first thought of it, or when I was given it, I thought of $1 million, but this is better. Every one of you has a ticket to heaven that you didn't buy, that has been given to you. It can never be taken away from you. And we worry about the penny with the ticket to heaven inside of us. We can't lose this. But we don't think about it. We think about this. Psalm 4 did not have Jesus Christ in it because he had not appeared. It was written by a king who left a palace to live in the desert, who, by the way, said, whatever you do 17, 18 months after this, whatever you do, don't kill my boy. And the leader of his army killed his boy. But all he was concerned about was for God's face to shine upon him. When you and I have a bad day, and we can't get over it, never forget your ticket. That is your bad Okay,